Hi everyone, so I guess we're back with missions maths for a little bit. Now yesterday you met kind of drawing pie charts for the first time, so today you're going to get a lot more practice with that. You're basically going to finish off what you started yesterday, but I'm just going to give one more example because of course I'm not there to help if you get stuck with anything. So this is actually the first one that you started to do yesterday. I know a couple of people struggled with it, so I'm just going to go through it now. So there's my question. I've been given some information about people's favourite sport and also how many people, so the number of people, or it might say frequency sometimes, is how many people chose that sport. So the first thing we need to think about is our total number of people. Now I've not really left myself a lot of space here, but if I put total at the end there, and we add up how many people there were all together, we should have 25, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So there are 90 people all together, okay, that were asked in this survey. So when we're looking at our pie chart, same as what you've got, just like this, okay, we have to remember how many degrees there are all together. And I know you guys know that there's 360 degrees all together around this central point. So if we've got 360 degrees all together, we want to represent 90 people in here, but we still want to use the whole circle, okay, we need to do 360 divided by 90 to find out how many degrees each person is going to get. Okay, so 360 divided by 90, which equals 4 degrees per person. Okay, so each person here is going to get 4 degrees. Now, it would start to look really messy if I did 4 degrees on here 25 times and kept on going, okay, to get all of the football people. That's going to look a real mess. I'd rather know how many people there were for football altogether. So if we've got our football, okay, and there's 25 people, okay, our working out is going to be 25 multiplied by 4 because there are 4 degrees by each person and there are 25 people. So that's going to be, I'm not going to put that there actually, I'm just going to put a separate one at the end because this is how we did it yesterday, 100 degrees. Okay, that's going to make 100 degrees on my pie chart. So the next one I'm going to do, netball. And this time we've got 15 people who each get 4 degrees. So we've got 15 there. 15 times by 4, which is 60 degrees. Then the same for tennis. So we've got 30 people for tennis, which is 30 multiplied by 4, which is 120 degrees. And that last one, hockey, where we've got 20 people. So they get 20 multiplied by 4, which is 80 degrees. And make sure we do that final important step where we add up the total number of degrees that we've got here. Okay, so we've got 0 from that column, 8, 9, 10, 16, 1, 2, 3. So 360, which is what we should get. Okay, if you don't get 360, double check. You do need to make sure it adds up to 360. Don't assume it does. Okay, always double check. So now we've got that, we can go ahead and draw a pie chart. And I have sent in some spare protractors for you guys to use, because otherwise I think we're going to be struggling a little bit. But here's mine. So I like to start my pie charts with the first line from the centre going upwards. I know some of you might prefer doing them from the side. It's absolutely fine. You will get the same answer. Okay, we'll get the same chart at the end. So make sure you're lining up carefully and that you're counting. Where are we? Nice and neat. There we are. And that you're counting from the 0. And the 0 is on the side where the line that you're sitting over goes. Okay, so if you've got your protractor going over the line there, we're looking for where 0 is. And in this case, it's on the outside scale. We don't want to start down here at this 0 because that's not where our line is. Okay, we're going over the line and 0 is on the outside scale. So the first one I'm going to do, can't see it there, is going to be my 100 degrees. Okay, and that's for football. Okay, so I'm going to start at 0, come all the way around to 100. Okay, and then I'm going to join that up to the centre nice and neatly. You don't actually need to go all the way out to the point you've made. Okay, mine's obviously gone off the page because I cut this up quite small, but it just tells you which direction you're going to go. So here we've got football. Okay, and you might want to put your angle in there. What have we got? 100 degrees. Okay, now I'm going to make it a little bit easier for myself, and instead of trying to measure something kind of upside down, I'm going to spin this around so that now this line is pointing up to the top. Okay, and I'm going to do the exact same thing but using that line to start off with. So this time I'm looking at netball for 60 degrees. Okay, so outside 0 all the way around to 60, which is there. Okay, so there is my netball section at 60 degrees. And I'm going to keep on doing this. Next one is tennis. I'm going to spin it around again so that the line's pointing up this time. Make sure, and also just make sure you label these as you go, because if you get to the end it can suddenly be really confusing about which was which. Okay, so make sure you are labeling them as you go. That will make your life a lot easier. So here we've got tennis at, what do we have for tennis? 120 degrees. 120 degrees for tennis. I'll make sure it's nice and accurate. So up to the 0, all the way around to 120. There we go. And if you remember, the last one you do, so we've got tennis here. The last one you do actually has already been drawn for you. But you need to check it, because if this angle isn't 80 degrees, then something's gone a bit wrong everywhere else. So it's, don't just assume that's 80 degrees. We're going to check it. So we're going to spin this around, put that up to the top, and just double check that my angles are accurate there. And there we go. So there's my 0 all the way around to 80, which is where this line is. So it is definitely right. And that is hockey. And voila, there is your completed pie chart. Okay, so for your copies of these, I expect to see not just your completed pie chart, but this working out as well. Okay, something to this effect is wonderful. Okay, because it shows everything that you've done. So if there are any mistakes that happen, and they do happen when we're learning something new, at least we can see where they've come from. Okay, all right, folks, have a good lesson. I'll speak to you next lesson. Bye bye.